Hello and welcome to this part one of an 8-part guide on getting started in web video. And I am joined by Dave Thackeray. Dave, welcome.
Thank you, Mark. It's great to be here from all the way up north to join you on this epic 8-part series, a Kickstarter guide to video. It's just what I need. I'm sure lots of people out there feel the same way.
So Dave, tell everybody what you do.
I run a company called wordandmouth.com. We concentrate on creating content for customer communities. So any brand who wants to look into working with their customers with a very dynamic sense of content, they come to Word and Mouth.
Great. Now I'm Mark Johnson and I have a company, TTFN TV, and we do web video.
Very well indeed.
That's what we've been doing. We have done the whole breadth, width, depth, whatever you want to say, for the last couple of years, and we've had great fun doing that. And we get lots and lots of questions, and we're happy to share a lot of this with people to get them off to a fast start, because web video is where it's at, really.
I think that's the one thing, isn't it? I mean, we find that a lot of people want to ask you questions, and it's so much easier to have all the answers in one place, and that's why we're really keen to get started. And we're just going to start this part of the series just by kind of telling people a bit more about what they're going to expect and a little bit more about the video landscape, because it's changing really fast, isn't it? And the opportunities are really quite big.
Yeah, I think everybody is trying to get into web video. Some people are doing it very well, and there's some that aren't doing it quite so well. So what we're going to do is to give you the hints and tips to get off to that fast start, as Dave said, and be able to experiment and produce a video or two and see if it's good enough to put on your website. Now, we do assume you have a website.
Pretty important at this point, yeah. I mean, I've had a website for a lot of years, as you have, and as many millions of people have, but only recently has video really become a very important part of the marketing mix. It doesn't matter whether you're a brand or whether you like hobbies, that kind of thing. It's all about the excitement of actually putting your personality on the stage. You don't have to think about yourself as being the next TV star, but there's no more engaging way of kind of exposing the passion behind your brand, behind your organization, and all about, the future of your brand really depends on the personality that goes behind it. Websites, Mark, are really no longer just about pixels and blog articles, and video can really kind of set the stage for, many more exciting years of doing business and growing your customer base really, really easily, but fundamentally with the passion that goes with it. And that's why, we're really excited about doing this series, because there's lots to learn, and I'm hoping that this journey is going to be rewarding both for us and obviously for yourselves as we learn more about what's going on as well. So tell me about the kind of videos that you think are really important or really useful, the things that you almost set the scene for people now, because videos come in all different shapes and sizes. I can't help but think about the Titanic these days, that fantastic film, but let's start and keep it simple.
Yeah, this isn't your 8-part guide to creating a movie epic. This is the guide to getting some basics together, to look at a standalone video. So that's probably something that explains a product. I mean, whenever I go to buy a product these days, I tend to look on the web. That's right. And I don't just want to read information, but I want to see it. And this little audio recorder, it could be, here it is. It's got it's got 2 directional microphones at the top. It has a full metering on the display, and at the bottom there's a dual XLR 1/4-inch input sockets.
Oh, you're born salesman.
Yeah, there you are. You see, but something like that.
How much?
To you,
double the price.
So something like that, gives you a whole insight, and quite often people will use it and they'll say, this works well, this doesn't work well. Because you have people who review these things, they do it for hobbies, or you have businesses just telling you about the products. And it's a great way of learning. So there is the standalone video, and that's really what we're going to be focusing on. But the other sort of 2 types are doing a regular podcast, which is probably a weekly show, what's happening in your business.
Yeah,
it could you could be just giving industry information. You think, well, why give away your sort of trade secrets? But it's a way of encouraging your viewers to trust you and believe in you.
You've got one of my pet subjects there straight away, this whole idea about sharing everything. I'm a strong believer that there isn't anything these days that is a guarded secret. I think more importantly than ever before, we've got to learn to become more open and more transparent. Through this series, we'll be talking little tips and little tricks and tactics on how you can really sort of unleash the marketing weapon within us using video, and that's what we're really excited about. So we're going to cover a lot of things in this series, aren't we?
Yeah.
Worth giving people a bit of a sort of an insight into sort of some of the things to come, because there's going to be lighting and audio.
Yeah, we're gonna do the the A to Z really. We're going to, as you said, audio, video, lighting. We're going to take you through what you need to think about. We didn't talk about the third type of video, which was live. Now we're not going to talk about that,
and that's why.
Yeah, because it is it is a step above in complexity. But a lot of people are using live video. They're going to go live once a week, once a day, and their customers or their friends or whoever watch them, and they have a community. They have a chat room where people can sort of send like instant messages and say, oh, I like that, I don't like that. And that's great, because building a community from your customers, I mean, what's better than doing that?
You just raised a really interesting tip, and it certainly wasn't on any form of script for this show. But when you're starting to learn how to do video, maybe you could start with a webcam and start talking to friends and build your community up that way, and actually start to get some of the basics down pat before you advance to some of the bigger stuff. Maybe we start talking about camcorders. We'll go all into that later. But that might be a really good way of doing it, because it takes away that kind of inhibiting factor of creating video. You've got an audience that you know, and you can ask for their feedback, and it's really kind of nice to know that you've got that warm, loving bosom of people who can kind of shimmy you in the right direction. But something you mentioned as well is that it might not necessarily be you that's the star, so don't let it put you off if you're not comfortable in front of the camera, because some of us just aren't. But that's okay, because
we hate it.
We absolutely despise the idea of being in front of that lens. But you might find that the next YouTube star is actually hiding in your broom cupboard. It might be a talent that you couldn't imagine comes out of the woodwork and really increases business, or shows people lots more about your pastime, activity, organisation, trade, body, exhibition.
That's a good point, because this isn't just aimed at business. This is anybody who wants to create video. Maybe you've got a passion, you want to share your hobby. Maybe you have a business. Maybe you're in an organisation and you want to raise money and do a promotional video. There are lots of ways of using video, and this is not just for businesses. But we're going to give an outline which we hope is going to be useful for a lot of people.
I'm dead excited. I'm hoping to learn from the master himself, so let's rock this joint. 7 more parts to come.
Yeah, we're going to cover the basics, structure and content, audio, lighting, production. So that means you've finished the video, but what comes next? Distribution and marketing, and then look at what could be the next steps.
Crikey, better get started. See you in part 2.